We have an open date.
And welcome to Hey Coach, live from Walk-Ons. We're on the outside tonight, a little bit bigger venue. We're going to have Coach Davis, as always. We also have a state championship coach and a state championship runner that'll be here with us tonight. But Coach Davis, the food's excellent, right? Let's talk about us versus Jackson Prep, because that wasn't one of our finest moments if you look back in the history of our program. But there are some positives when you start looking at the tape. When we looked at it on Sunday, like there are some positives out of this, as the Patriots lost 42-17 against Jackson Prep in the conference championship, de facto conference championship, if you will, as for seeding goes into. But we got another game this week. It's going to be homecoming, but let's relive that Friday night on a temporary basis of just some things that we did well that can build on going into the postseason.
Well, you know, you can always say woulda, coulda, shoulda, but at the same time, we had some opportunities the first half, obviously, with some but we felt like we left some points on the board, and then the unfortunate interception got called back right before half, and gave them another opportunity to score, which made it 21-7. Half instead of a potential 14-7. Or again, if we scored on or caught those balls, or didn't get one called back for a penalty, blah blah blah, we could have been leading half. So, but again, that's why when you play those big games, you got to do things right. You got to do things better than the other team, and too many mistakes. But we did some good things. We got a lot of things to get better at, and we started working on that this week.
Yeah, you look at those kind of games, but this game's, you turn the page, but you start looking at playoff football now, because you've closed that book, you go into PCS now, and then you get a bye week, being the number 2 seed, and then you don't really know who you're going to play till after this Friday night's game when Jay and Hartfield play. How do you go through this week, preparing for PCS, then you have the bye week of, how's the schedule been? And I know a lot of times you just say, hey, it's about us and us getting better and stuff like that. So what are some things that you see your ball club has to get better at going into this last part of the season?
Yeah, that's what we focus on, as we do every week. But we're trying to fix some things that we know that's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb right now. Obviously, those mistakes. Look, honestly, every group we got can get better. From lining up right on defense, to making some tackles on defense, to being more physical, to playing lower, to offensively not blowing protections, whether that be backs or the line, quarterbacks reading a little bit better. Obviously, receivers running better routes, dropping, not dropping. I mean, we can go from top to bottom. I mean, special teams. We really, again, I've been saying it all along, we have a lot of upside left for us, but at some point, we've got to be able to look in the mirror and see if we can, hey, we got to get that fixed. And so we're challenging those guys to see if we can do that this week. So, but that's kind of where we're at. Honestly, we're just trying to get better. I know it sounds cliche, but we're trying to fix the things that we see, and some of them we've been seeing for a while. I told some guys out here tonight, there's some things we've been getting away with, and prep kind of exploited those things. And so, who knows, maybe in a good way, our guys see it now and recognize it, and maybe we can fix it and make a run.
As you go back and you look at the latter part or the earlier part of the season when we played Pulaski, sometimes you got to lose to win, and that's kind of one of those things you get exposed to things that we've been getting away with, X, Y, or Z, and now, hey, let's go back to the drawing board and let's fix these things. Let's look in the mirror. Let's make that mirror test. Let's fix those problems, because what really mattered that other night is we knew both teams were going to get a first round bye, so we're going to be the 1 seed or the 2 seed. So as you plan and as you go, offensively, defensively, special teams wise, I really think that the ceiling, as you say, is very high, because you see the competition that we have played and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you're on the outside, you're probably like, oh my goodness, there's like people worried about our program and stuff. You've read that on social, like, oh, I'm worried about what MRA is going to be doing when the internal bones are all great, right? You just got to fix those little things, and then the breakdown of how many passes we were open and how many we dropped. But I think a key turning point in that whole game was the interception that DJ had, that the call was very questionable on the PI, which turned into a touchdown, so that makes it 21-7 instead of possibly a 14-14 game, which that's neither here nor there, but those are turning points in a championship style game that, you know, those are hurdles you have to overcome on the road and stuff like that. So I'm not making complaints, comparisons, excuses, anything. It's just high school kids playing in those kind of games, knowing that you didn't have that penalty, but it was thrown, stuff like that. So the mental state of your team right now, where do you see them?
I felt like we had a great practice yesterday. Of course, we didn't have to hit anybody. So today, when we got after it and a little bit more, and you know, again, we're addressing those issues we have. You know, it's you know, I've challenged them to see, you know, how bad do you want to win one? I mean, how bad do you want to win one is going to determine how hard you work in practice and how your attitude is in practice. So we had, let's just say we had a challenging practice today. I think our guys want to do it though, you know, so we just got to, again, we're working through some things. But look, you know, we're sounding like the sky's falling, but I mean, I promise you, Jackson Prep's over there working on some things this week too, and they won a big game. So it's just this time of the year, it's part of football, it's part of anything, you know. I think our girls play our first game tonight. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you tomorrow, Coach Force will be trying to fix something, get those guys better. So that's just part of the game. It's all about who can fix it better, really, this time of the year. You know, it's 3 or 4 teams that could win this thing. And so it's all about who makes those adjustments, who has the attitude to work at it, who's the attitude to stay together and have the leadership to do it. And so that's what we're trying to get our guys to do.
Yeah. Well, as we can say, I mean, we have a first round bye. We play homecoming this week. We get to rest up and practice without playing a game, which that's huge. And then we're not leaving the Metro. We're playing a home game, and you and I both know, and our fans know, it's a great atmosphere on Old Kent Road, and it's a fun atmosphere to get back to ultimately on November 23rd, we're playing a state championship. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Trace Walters, the head boys cross-country coach. He won a state championship for the second time in 3 years with those boys. He'll be back with us next on Hey Coach.
Gumbo is a quintessential Louisiana dish, right? Our gumbo's just got tremendous flavor. It's about quality. If you skip any part of the process, you'll definitely get called out for it, and we just don't do that. Of course, we have salt and pepper shakers on every table, but rarely do we see someone pick them up. If you're gonna do a gumbo, you better do it the right way.
At Watkins Construction and Roofing, football is more than just a sport. It's teamwork meets community. And supporting our local teams is just another way we give back. So don't let a leak sneak through your defense. Call the professionals that know how to tackle a leak and protect your home field. Watkins Construction and Roofing. Trust, the beginning of what we build.
Your smile. It's how you share your truest feelings, your dreams, yourself with the world. And at the Winning Smile, your smile is our passion. That's why we offer in-house financing options, convenient appointment times, and personalized treatment plans to help keep you healthy and discover your confidence to unleash your best smile. Learn more at thewinningsmile.com.
Your daddy's got a lot of money.
And welcome back to Hey Coach Live from Walk On. I'm here with Trace Walters, he is the boys cross country coach at Madison Ridgeland Academy. I'm over here enjoying one of my meals in between. But let me tell you about this past, yesterday. Yesterday, the boys cross country team won their second state championship in 3 years. So big round of applause for those. And our girls won their 8th in a row. I mean, that's incredible. Their 8th state championship in a row, kind of like the gold standard of cross country. Anyway, Trace, let's talk about cross country. And I don't like running at all. It's one of those things that y'all do for fun. That is your sport. When it's typically, when the receivers like drop a ball or something, they have to run 100 and back. That seems like, oh, we can go do that. Like, that's a punishment for us. But it's one of the coolest things y'all do for time and all that. But let's talk about the preparation that went into this season to end with the state championship.
Yeah, so we start our season in June, and we build a huge base basically all summer long. We just basically are going out there. We start at 7:30 p.m. because it's so hot, so we're just going out there logging miles, just slugging along. We come out there and the football team sees our boys, they're like, what are y'all doing today? It's like, well, they're off on their 1.5 mile warm-up, and then they're coming their 1.5 mile warm-up. So these guys have been working hard all season long, and as we get closer to the state championship, we get more and more specific with our training. But basically, they're just having to grind week in, week out. Some of them are logging anywhere from 50 miles, and some of them are doing 30 miles a week. So it's just a lot of consistent work throughout the year to get to this point.
I was there for the meet yesterday. Let's talk about that meet day, because I know how we're not really high strung in track when we coach together. Yesterday, I saw a different side of you that I haven't seen, and I know it was going to be tight because you saw how the finishers went the top 10. And I saw at the mile that was holy cow, it went out way too fast. Talk about that race and how that finished out, and like, how do you score cross country? Because a lot of people, it's a lot like golf, low score wins. But let's talk about the whole meet and then how to score cross country.
So going back to last year, we got second, and that meet, PCS got the jump on us early in the race. So this year we really wanted to be ready for that. So JA got the jump on us again at the mile marker, but our guys were really ready. We knew it was going to go out fast. We knew we were going to hold off a bit and just work our way up through the pack. Cross country, you score 5 runners. So this meet got very close. MR, we went 1, 3, 5, 7, and Jay was 2, 4, 6, 8. So there was absolutely zero separation between the two teams. So we just had to really focus on those head-to-head matchups, and we came out on top on every single head-to-head matchup, which is what won us the meet that day. So the way cross country works, you have your 5 runners, and then each one gets a point for whatever place they get. So if you get first place, you get 1 point, second place, 2 points, and all the way down. And then you'll add up all 5 of those runners to get a total score, and the team with the lowest score will win. And then, this year it was a really big deal because there's a 6th and 7th place that can count as a bumper. They don't affect your team score, your personal one, but they can push other people back. So for example, it was big for us this year because we had a really deep team that allowed us to get our 6th and 7th in before Jay got a 5th guy. So we just kept bumping them further and further back. So we actually had a pretty big buffer, and we ended up winning by 10 points. So.
Yeah, one of the things you said to me is you got 9 in before their 5th, which is a big thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. So you kind of set the standard for this. This is 2 and 3 years. What's the ceiling? I mean, is it going for back-to-back?
Yeah, we really wanted to do back-to-back. I mean, the girls have been the gold standard, obviously. They've won 8 in a row. So really, we were just following them along. My first few years here, I was just happy to be, the girls go to all the biggest meets. They face the best competition. So we've just kind of gone along with the pack. And then finally, we've gotten to that point where actually now we can compete. So I think just having a group of boys and girls together and going to these huge meets, we're running races with 300 to 500 kids. And though when you get to that state meet and it's only 40 kids, they know what to do. And so I think if we just keep doing that year in, year out, and we took this program, the boys were consistently a 5th place, 4th place finish out of only 6 teams. So now we've been fighting for championships the past 3 years in a row, so we really want to make sure we stay in that spot and hopefully, just get like the girls and the boys and girls track teams and get where we can win consecutively. So,
Well, before we let you go, we got two of your seniors here, Ford Johnson, Mason Toller. I want you to talk about those two guys and how much they've meant to your program. Ford going out on top, which is amazing. Like to see the grit and the grind that he went through to make sure, like, hey, I'm finishing as a state champion. And you got Mason, who is, I mean, I talked to his dad, who's here tonight, like 2 years ago, like trying to convince him to run track, and he's like, I don't know if you can get him to run track. And he's one of our staples in our track program too. Both those guys are very integral in why we're successful in track as well. Talk about those two tonight.
Yeah, so I had 5 seniors this year, by far my biggest senior class. You know, I graduated 2 seniors that were pivotal to the team, winning that first championship. And so this team wanted it so bad because we lost last year, got second. You know, we were kind of the favorites going into that, we thought. And then to see it, you know, come to an end the way it did was really hard for those guys. And so to come back this year and have this senior class, they wanted this very bad. And so Mason came out and I think he went from a 1950 all the way down to 1820 this year. So, I mean, you don't really see people their senior year make big jumps like that. So that was a huge, I mean, we had to have that in order to win. So he became a guy who's never been top 10 to go and then get 7th at the state meet, which was huge. And obviously Ford's kind of been a staple of our program for the past 3 years. He got 2nd his 10th grade year. I think he got 5th or 6th last year. And then to come out and win the thing this year after, you know, we had so many guys who laid the groundwork. We had Will Triplett, we had Jonas Cox, and Jonas won it that year we won in 2022. So you almost have to, with the field being so small, have to have the winner if you want to win this thing. So Ford took that role on, and he was, you know, the front runner all year long. He never lost a race to a 6A competition. So to finish out the way he did was a huge, huge way to go out with a bang, I think.
Well, that's Trace Walters, our head boys cross country coach. Congratulations on another state championship. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with these individual state champions. Ford Johnson, who's taking the stage with me. This is Hey Coach Live in Walk-On.
From small-town courtrooms to the Mississippi Supreme Court, our attorneys have over 60 years' experience litigating cases all across Mississippi. The odds say you'll need an attorney at some point, and when you do, you can have the home field advantage with your hometown lawyers right around the corner from MRA. Gladden and Ingram, attorneys at law.
Quality, integrity, and excellence. Kincaid's Fine Clothing, Old Town Square, Ridgeland.
Motion is what connects us to our world, to each other, and us. We were born to keep you in motion, however you decide to do so.
We carry a wide variety of Continental passenger and light truck SUV tires. Take to the road with confidence and install Continental brand tires on your vehicle today.
Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Ely's is a proud sponsor of MRA Patriot Athletics. Come try our USDA Prime New York Strip, bone-in filet, New England scallops, or sauteed Gulf crab claws. Ely's also offers an extensive wine list and bar selections. Ely's, upstairs on Jackson Street in Ridgeland. Good luck, Patriots. And welcome back to Hey Coach. I have the individual state champion for the 6A cross country meet from yesterday. I mean, we're like 24 hours away from like just winning that thing. This is Ford Johnson. And Ford, I got to ask, we talked to Coach Walters about running and all that. When did you first start getting into running?
I probably started like 8th grade track. Just probably about how everyone starts running. Middle school track, you know. And Trace just made us run. I wasn't really one of the best people. I was okay at the 800. I ran like a 3:30 800 when I was in 8th grade. It's not very good. And then I ran the mile and Trace just stuck me in the mile, and I just rolled with it for the rest of the wherever.
All right, so let me ask you this. In running, I mean, you got the 2 mile, the mile in track, but then you look at a 5K, it's just 3.1 miles. What goes through your mind, like knowing, I see y'all this past Monday, when you run, it's like the dead sprint down the I guess the deep incline that y'all have, the decline. But then you start getting into the mile markers and all that stuff. What goes through your mind when you are running?
Well, 5K and a 2 mile are different because on the 2 mile, I'm just on a track and I'm just trying to get to the next lap. But on 5K on the course, it's different. I'm just trying to get to my spot and where I need to be at a certain time. I just got to look out for the people, like got to know how they run.
Yeah.
Just trying to be where I'm supposed to be in the race.
Is there any strategy that goes into that?
There's not really any strategy unless you just strictly going off of time, like the clock. And if you know how to do a runner that you're running against races, then you can just go off of that.
Gotcha. What about when, as we were talking before we went on the air, you were talking kind of about how Jack Bailey went out, and you were kind of giving that little bit of strategy, like how somebody can push you and kind of pull you along, I guess you will, if you were slowing down or picking up. How does that go into a race, of the magnitude of a state championship versus just an invitational meet?
Well, I went out pretty fast on the first 2 miles, and I think Jack saw that, and he started taking charge, and really just started pushing, and he kind of started to slow down. I kind of caught my second wind, so then I tried to pass him, and some moments like that, you really just gotta take charge and just go for it.
All right, let's talk about that hill, because everybody talks about the hill at Choctaw Lake. That's the hardest thing to finish. You have that big steep hill. When you came around and Trace was standing right on the left of you, and you made the curve, and I think a lot of your teammates, your sister was standing there. She's like, oh my gosh, because we saw the other mile where Jack was in front, and then you would come around and take. What was it? I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about this. What was that feeling like, knowing that I'm about to win a state championship my senior year?
Well, I didn't know where Jack or Alex, the J kid, was behind me, so I'm just sprinting, like dead sprint up the hill, and I look over and Trace is freaking out. So I think I just think I'm about to get hawked down. So I just start like dead sprinting up the hill. But once I kind of get to like when I'm like 50 meters away from the finish line, that's when I kind of start thinking like, oh, I won.
What went through your head when you finished it, when you won it?
I just
a little emotional.
Yeah, a little emotion. I was just happy I was finished with the race. I was so tired. I wasn't really thinking at all. I was just kind of dead.
Is there anything else before we get Mason up here? Just how much Trace means to you, and just what this program and MRA has done for you, finishing out your cross country career, and now you're going into track. So got another hurdle to finish. I mean, you want to win the 2 mile, right?
Yes, sir. Trace means a lot to this organization and how we run. He basically taught every one of us how to train, how to run, and just what to do. So I feel like if something happened, we'd know what to do. And going into track, especially, like he's just focused on like the hurdlers and the sprinters. We kind of know what to do. He kind of just gives us the workout, and if we need help, he just comes to us. And we usually just know by now we know what to do in a race.
That comes in that senior leadership role of taking care of in cross country, and it translates into track. So kudos to you. That is Ford Johnson, the MIS 6A cross country individual state champion. Stay tuned. We got Mason Toller coming on the stage here at Hey Coach, live from Walk-On.
Mason Toller.
At Uptown Dental, located in the township on Highland Colony, their passion is helping patients look and feel their best. Dr. Michelle Cruz and Dr. Claire Greiner are dedicated to creating an experience that is pleasant, comfortable, and pain-free. Their state-of-the-art facility welcomes patients into a spa-like atmosphere. Uptown Dental has the latest dental treatments and most cutting-edge technology available. From 3D cone beam imaging, digital x-rays, digital impressions, Invisalign orthodontic treatment, and so much more, at Uptown Dental, they pride themselves on staying on top of the constant changes in dentistry.
You made a promise to teach, to provide, to make time, to play, to protect, to give every opportunity. You made a promise, and we're here to help you keep it. Bank Plus, it's more than a name, it's a promise.
Did you know that there's no need to go out of the way for your next family take-home meal? We got you covered at Fleetway Market in Gluckstadt. Our state-of-the-art smoker makes the best smoked brisket, chicken, pulled pork, and ribs on this side of the Mississippi. So let us fuel you up next time you pick up. Fleetway Market, serving Mississippi for over 30 years.
What we're doing is cutting some of the boneless off the tenders. It doesn't just come from a pre-cut tender and this, that, and the other. Aside from whether it's fried, grilled, whatever, you have kind of a firm, tough texture when it's frozen. And when it's fresh, it's a lot more tender. It's a lot easier to chew through.
I don't like wings to be frozen. I don't know when the hell you frozen.
You want that crunch, but still that wetness from the sauce. You just have the tossed wings in a clean bowl.
Every plate is a love letter. Send a love letter. Let the guests know you love them.
And welcome back to Hey Coach, live from Walk-On from here with Mason Pollard. Mason, another one of the runners that finished in the top 10, which makes you an all-state, all-MAS runner. Let's go back in the way back years. You have a soccer background. Let's talk about when the love of running started for you, because you did cross country and then you're like, I'm gonna do soccer and then I'm not gonna do track. And we had to convince you to come out and do track. So let's talk about when you started loving just running in general.
Honestly, I didn't really start loving running until this year. 7th grade is when I really started cross country because I did it for my dad and that's what he really wanted me to do. So I started then. All I remember is running around that lap at Liberty Park, running like 18-minute 2-mile. And I had a soccer background too. And honestly, that's when it really started. I didn't run track until probably 9th grade. And usually with runners that you don't really know what to do with, you put them in the 800, and that's exactly where I went. And honestly, I kind of like it. My dad's like, I don't really know if you should be running the 800, maybe you should be in the mile. And I'm like, Dad, I really like the 800. I think I could get that. I really want to get the school record this year.
Oh, nice. So going with that, I mean, being in the top 10 is a huge deal. As you heard Trace talk about earlier in the show, that every runner counts, especially the higher you finish, the lower the number. Kind of like golf. Let's talk about the season this year, because y'all went everywhere to go run in very stiff competition. How did that prepare you and the team for now winning a state title and running it? Because another thing we're going to talk about is also the weather. It was really hot that day, when typically in October it cools down. So let's talk about the season and how competitive it was for y'all.
It was honestly super competitive because Trace, he's had us going like, I think last year we went to Huntsville for a big meet, and that one was really competitive. But this year we ended up near Smith Lake. I don't really remember what the town was called, but it was for the Jesse Owens Classic. And that meet was honestly really fun. I really think it brought the team together a lot, was that spending the night at Smith Lake and really everybody bonding together and getting closer and closer. And that meet was honestly really fun for a lot of us, going out there and running before that. And it was pretty hot that day too, so it really was boosting what we were capable of doing with other pretty good teams in the area.
Let's talk about Monday's race. I mean, it's fresh on your mind. What goes through your mind before? I think different runners have different thoughts that go through their mind. What goes through your mind when you're running around a course for a 5K of just those mile markers? Does Trace give y'all any training? Is there any like mental training, I guess, would go along with that, like being a pack runner, or where am I supposed to be? Is there anything that goes on with during that?
I think every one of our teammates kind of had that person they had to be with, who they knew they were having to be on JA. And I'm pretty sure everybody was on our team was pretty confident going in, even though nobody said anything because we didn't want to jinx anything, kind of like PCS last year. But coming in, like at the first mile marker, I'm looking around, I'm seeing 5:40. I'm like, dude, this is really fast. This is fast. And I'm looking around, I'm with Sam Chu, and that's exactly who I needed to be with. And I'm with the JA kid right on him. And I'm like, this is where I need to be, even though it's fast, where I need to be. About probably halfway through the race, I'm starting to hurt a little bit going out too fast. So I look at Sam Chu, the 7th grader, and I'm like, you look like you want to go, so you need to go. And I saw the 3rd place JA kid right there, and I was like, he's got to get him, and I knew he wanted to go, so I kind of sent Sam off to go and get him. And I ended up with the JA kid, Nick Rula, was probably 15 seconds behind me. And I just knew, I came around the corner at like 2 miles, I was hurting. He ended up passing me until the last 100 meters. I outkicked him at the end and ended up taking it.
I have a vivid memory of seeing Trace right to the left as you're going up the hill, of saying, Mason, you gotta go, you gotta go. Yeah. And seeing you kick going up that hill reminds me of, you know, your 800 kick when you're doing that with us on Invitationals, even state last year. So what does it mean to you going out as a senior, winning a state championship? It's one of those cool things. Y'all were denied it last year, but this year it was one of those things that it was the goal, you know, a state championship or bust. What does that feel like?
Honestly, it feels really, really great after 6 months of hard work, putting in 27 miles a week probably. And like a few practices ago, I was like, Trace, my legs are hurting more as I go slower. And I'm like, I think my shoes are already dead. And I just bought them before the season started. And we put probably 500 miles on the shoes in one season. So it just feels really accomplishing to do something that we all planned on doing for 6 months with people that we've grown to really love.
That's awesome. Well, that's Mason Toller. Congratulations again. Top 10 runner, which makes him an all-MAS runner. Yeah, Ford Johnson, the individual state champion in Trace Walker Championship. Coach just joining us tonight. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about homecoming week with Coach Davis live from Walk-On. This is Hey Coach.
Gumbo is a quintessential Louisiana dish, right? Our gumbo's just got tremendous flavor. It's about quality. If you skip any part of the process, you'll definitely get called out for it, and we just don't do that. Of course, we have salt and pepper shakers on every table, but rarely do we see someone pick them up. If you're gonna do a gumbo, you better do it the right way.
At Watkins Construction and Roofing, football is more than just a sport. It's teamwork meets community. And supporting our local teams is just another way we give back. So don't let a leak sneak through your defense. Call the professionals that know how to tackle a leak and protect your home field. Watkins Construction and Roofing. Trust, the beginning of what we build.
Your smile. It's how you share your truest feelings, your dreams, yourself with the world. And at the Winning Smile, your smile is our passion. That's why we offer in-house financing options, convenient appointment times, and personalized treatment plans to help keep you healthy and discover your confidence to unleash your best smile. Learn more at thewinningsmile.com.
All right, welcome back to Hey Coach. This is our final segment where we break down our opponent, but we also look at homecoming. Last game of the season, somebody was saying here earlier, like homecoming week on the last game. I think it's one of those cool things. The weather gets cooler. I mean, you say that. The weather in Mississippi, if you don't like it, just wait 5 minutes. It'll change. So let's talk about homecoming week and what goes into it. We do all kind of spirit week and stuff like that. As a seasoned coach who's been in it for 35 plus years, what are the distractions that you kind of are weary of on that game day?
Well, a lot of it, a lot of things. As a coach, it's not my favorite time of the year, I promise you. But you know, our guys have done a pretty good job handling that throughout the years, and hopefully we will continue to do the same. You know, but it's a good time. So, hey, look, it's a lot, especially for those seniors. It's their last homecoming, and you know, I always kind of challenge my young guys to push these guys out. Because I think it's big to win on your last homecoming, and so you know, and look, and as a football coach, you know, I'm wanting us to we talked about getting them improving this week. Some things we need to see Friday night that make me feel a lot better about our football team.
Yeah, well, we're going to welcome back a lot of class reunions. The 1994 class, the 04 class, which was the second state championship ever won at MRA in football, 92, and then 2004. They're going to have their class reunion, so they'll be there. And then the 1999 class is also going to be there, which is kind of sentimental to me. I didn't go to MRA, but it reminded me when I made the script out today, that's the 25th year, their reunion. So I've been out of high school for 25 years. It's just a little wake-up call for me going out. I was like, wow. Well, let's talk about playing back at home. You know, we go to JA, we go to prep, we talk about playing at home, and our next 2 games are going to be at home. We don't know who we're going to play yet, either JA or Hartfield. Whoever wins that game this Friday will host more than likely in 2 weeks. They got a first round game they have to get through and then get to us. But you get to play at home, you get the bye week, and that's kind of what I want to live on real quick, is that bye week that is crucial, I think, at a time, you know, when you're still trying to find yourself, you're still getting through some things, but you start looking at, hey, the mirror test, but you start honing in on who you are and where you got to do to finish this season. So what does a bye week look like? We talked about it during our bye week when we had it, but is it any different when we start looking postseason of getting that bye, maybe a mental reset or something like that?
Yeah, I think I do like for us to mentally and physically reset, you know, much like we do during our normal open date. But at the same time, you know, we're trying to, you know, kind of got to be ready for either one you play, you know. So it's you kind of double dip into the game plan a little bit and prepare for both teams a little bit. So that's a little bit different. Where, you know, when we had our last open date, it was, you know, we were getting ready for Hartfield, you know. So anyway, so it's a little bit different there, but yeah, you do want to kind of get refreshed, and hopefully we can finish out these last 2 weeks, and because it gets to be a grind. You know, we've been on a grind like for the last three or 4 weeks, and so it'll hit at a good time. Hopefully we can have a good homecoming win and a good homecoming weekend, and rest up, but at the same time get better next week and get ready for hopefully a huge win and go play for a championship.
Yeah. And I think that's the key to all this, when you start looking at the season and how fast it goes. I mean, I remember 2-a-days like it was yesterday, and now we're talking about the last regular season game this Friday night. I can't imagine, you know, those senior parents that are out there. They're like, wow, they said it was going to go by fast. I really didn't believe them, but here it is. And then it's coaching. I mean, in my 20th year of this thing, it seems like it goes faster every year. They say the days are long, but the years are really fast, and that is so true. So the fact that our homecoming is our last regular season football game is kind of a bit, not bittersweet, but it's a sweet moment for those guys to knowing that they're going to have another game, because we've already had senior night. They're going to have another game, and that game that they're going to play on that field after homecoming is going to be to go to the state championship or not. So I think that's a sweet moment for our seniors and our senior parents. Stuff like that. Any final thoughts before we close this episode of Hey Coach as we enter the PCS week and then in our bye week?
I'm just excited, encouraging our parents, our players, everybody, just to kind of, continue to encourage each other, to work hard, to believe that we can do this thing, put it together, and which I think we can. I thought we can all along. Again, I still think our ceiling's high, which is good. If we come out and continue to improve, we got, obviously we won't win Friday night, but truly we got 3 weeks to improve.
That's right.
To try to make a run for a 2-week state championship. That's kind of what we're looking for.
That's it. Well, the Patriots will play the Presbyterian Christian Bobcats this Friday night on Old Canton Road. Kickoff is at 7. Pregame starts at 6:30. A lot of homecoming festivities going to go on, and it's also Halloween on Thursday. So kind of glad we're not going to be playing.
My second favorite time.
Second favorite time. But be there, get early. Be there early. There's going to be a lot of class reunions. We're going to honor our state championship teams from the past, and it's just going to be a great night at home, celebrating our homecoming and hopefully sending our seniors out with a homecoming win versus the Bobcats of PCS. So for Coach Davis, Coach Walters, Mason Toller, Ford Johnson, Alan behind the boards, thank you so much, and thank you for those that are here and those that are tuning in on live stream for making us part of your night here at 8 o'clock. So this is John Weaver signing off live from Walk On. This is 8 o'clock.